Hello and welcome to another Ice Tech FAQ from Manitowoc Ice. My name is Josh Klepadlo. I'm a technical trainer here at the Factory Training Center in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. Today we're going to cover the replacement of a water inlet valve. Really, this applies to any of our modular cubers, whether it's a Koolaire, an Indigo, Legacy Indigo, an Indigo NXT, pretty much any of our cubers going back all the way to the S model. This is going to be applicable to. Today I'm working on a self-contained air-cooled 500-pound Indigo NXT. That's what we're going to be using for our example today. So let's dive in and take a look. I've gone ahead and disconnected incoming power as well as the incoming water from this machine so that we can safely remove this valve without making a mess or potentially getting electrocuted. You can see the water inlet valve here in the middle of the screen, the bright yellow valve. This small 1/4 inch line here is the water inlet side of the valve. It can be removed by pushing in on this blue ring. This is a John Guest fitting. You push in on this blue ring and pull out the clear tube and you'll be able to disconnect it. Now that I have the tube disconnected, I can put this out of our way. The next thing we're going to do is remove the power connection from this valve solenoid. This is done by simply pulling out on this white connector back here. There is no lock on this. You just simply pull it off of the two terminals. You'll see there's these two screws holding the valve to the body of the machine. A lot of people try to fight with these two screws at this point to get them out, but what we're actually going to do is you see this bracket wraps around and there's these two 5/16 screws on the side. We're going to take these out and take this whole piece out as an assembly. Makes it a lot easier to get in and out. You're not trying to fight screws in and out around this corner here, doing them where you can't see them. Going to use my magnetic 5/16 nut driver. Go ahead and remove these two screws. You don't have to use a magnetic nut driver. I just find it easier. Prevents you from dropping the screws and misplacing them. Now that we have the two screws out, the electrical disconnected, as well as the incoming water, we can grab the valve, and I like to pull it to the side here. And while I pull it to the side, you'll notice this bottom, the outlet side of the valve, just kind of falls off of the bottom here. You're going to pull it to the side, lift it up a little bit, and it'll come right out. There's this little clip here that falls into the track back here where it mounts. I brought the valve with the bracket over to our workbench here. I have our replacement service part here. For this particular machine, it's going to be a part number that starts with 5 consecutive zeros, 9120. This is a 115 volt water inlet valve. Consult Easy Parts or your distributor for the proper part number. Most up-to-date part number for your machine will always be on Easy Parts. So now what we're going to do is remove the water inlet valve from the bracket. The kit will not come with this bracket for your ice machine. Going to use a 1/4 inch nut driver for that and take out these two screws. Going to save this bracket for reuse with the new valve. Now let's open up our service parts kit and see what we have in here. We have a water inlet valve that already has the bracket attached to it. We have this clear piece of tubing, 2 other brackets, and lastly we have this little bag that has some screws and this strange white piece of paper that I know most of you are probably going to throw away. If we open up the bag and take a look at this piece of paper, we'll see that it's a water inlet valve installation instruction sheet for S model 30 and 22 inch machines. What this is this valve is used across multiple machines, as well as it is a retrofit kit for legacy S series machines. Since we're not working on an S series machine, we're not going to need this today. We're also not going to need this tube or these 2 little brackets. So we can place those off to the side with our old failed valve. We're working on an Indigo machine. This valve is going to be ready to simply install back onto our bracket and put back into our machine. I always like to recommend using the 2 screws or 2 of the 4 screws that come with the kit and discard these old screws. This is where a magnetic nut driver makes this job a little bit easier. You can pre-plan by having the screw inside the nut driver, line up your water inlet valve onto the bracket, and then just simply screw the screw in without trying to fumble around and dropping it. Okay, my valve is back onto its bracket. The screws are tight. We're ready to reinstall it in the machine. Now we're back over here at the machine, ready to reinstall the valve. What I like to do to make it a little bit easier on myself is grab this little white tube and just pull it up out of the base pan. Then I put that onto the outlet of the water inlet valve. Just makes it a little bit easier to reinstall than trying to line it all up. Sometimes that will come out with the valve, that's fine, but a lot of times it doesn't and it just gets left in there. I like to remove it and put it onto the valve before I reinstall it. Now we're going to line up this little retention tab onto the bulkhead. And when you reinstall this into the bulkhead, make sure you don't pinch any wires. Okay, mine's installed. Next, we're going to flex that white tube back into the base pan. And then, making sure not to pinch any wires on the left side here, spin the whole assembly into place. Give that a push down, make sure everything's tight in place. Now we're ready to reinstall the 2 screws here on this left-hand side bracket. And again, this is another time that I'm a fan of a magnetic nut driver. Lets you get the screw ready inside of the screwdriver. I like to use my right hand here, get these 2 holes lined up. Go ahead and start the screws. Once I have both screws started, I can go ahead and just make sure everything's in its final place and snug up these 2 screws. Okay, my valve and its bracket is back in place. The outlet side of the valve is secured onto the base pan as well as to the outlet side of the valve. We can go ahead and reconnect the electrical harness to the valve. Okay, I got that done. Now we're going to reconnect our 1/4 inch incoming line into the John Guest fitting. It's just as simple as pushing it in until it bottoms out. I like to give it a little tug, a little wiggle, just to make sure that everything is good. Rework the insulation back up there. Now at this point, you're ready to restore water and electric back to this machine. What I would do is before I put all these panels back on, I would make sure I get water back onto the machine at a minimum. Make sure I have no leaks here at the John Guest fitting. Power it on. Ideally, we always recommend you make 3 batches of ice while you're monitoring it after any sort of a repair. Make sure everything's good. Make sure you're filling with water properly. No more leaks. And then at that point, you can put all the covers back on and have a good rest of your day. From all of us here at Manitowoc Ice at the Factory Training Center, we appreciate you tuning in today for another Ice Tech FAQ. Remember to like and subscribe for more content. We have a lot of good videos in the works coming to you soon. Thanks for watching.